Hey, what's up? This is Johnny from the Nixons and Seether, and you're watching the Network 317 podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Network 317 podcast. We have actually this guy doesn't need an introduction. You all should know who this guy is as soon as I say the name. It's John Humphrey. Yes, the drummer for Seether and the Nixons. What's going on, man?
Yes. What's up, man? How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Getting used to the whole podcast thing,
Right?
we've been so used to doing this since 95 in person, always, you
Yeah.
know, getting our spring and summer, and fall booked up with interviews and live shows. And,
Right.
the new norm is all tours are canceled and no live interviews. So,
Right. And now in the vernacular, your Zoom link. Here's your Zoom meeting, your Zoom
that's
Zoom
crazy, dude.
interview,
It's so crazy. It's so crazy having to do that. We've always flirted with the idea of doing a video podcast, if you will.
Sure.
And, we kind of had that on the back burner because we were always just either busy doing photography, concert photography or just something, with interviews or live shows. And it was just one of them ideas that was always on the back burner. So
Right.
when we started getting cancellations from management teams or PR reps or even, Live Nation here in Indianapolis, we were like, we better fire this thing up quick because everything's going down the tubes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And on some level, we've managed to persevere. Seether managed to put out an album. We
right.
had finished it right at the end of 2020, or excuse me, at the beginning of 2020, January, and we're just preparing for like some spring dates and a summer tour and the album to come out. And that March, everything, all our worlds went upside down and everything changed. And then we put it out in August. But yeah, I mean, on some level, both bands have done live streams, and
Mm-hmm.
here we are talking on a Zoom interview. I've done several of these, and so we're able to connect, and thank God we're still able to make music on some level, record and do live streams. I mean, nothing will take the place of a live show, but at least we're all, thank God for this technology, right?
Right.
I can't imagine if this had happened 25 years
Oh,
ago,
dude.
what this would be a mess, a
It,
real mess. Not that it's not, but
yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
another level.
Yeah, it really would. And I was talking to an artist yesterday. I think with the whole Zoom and meetings and podcasts, I think it slows everything way down. Because we've always been like so used to, hey, the interview's at 7 o'clock. You have 10 minutes. Wait right here. We'll go get the artist. As soon as you walk in, it's like boom, boom, boom. Let's go, let's go. And
Right,
you don't really get to get all of your questions out. And then it's like, all right, he's got to go. It's showtime. Let's roll. Uh,
right,
and
right.
not only that, it probably, like you guys said, like with Seether, you guys got to release an album and it gives bands enough time to slow down and slow the process down and just, you know, finally, I guess, get to concentrate on, putting a good album out.
Yeah, absolutely. We worked really hard. So, and then the way this landed is at the end of the last album, the last tour, Poison the Parish, ended at the end of 2018. So 2019 was going to be sort of a regroup, rest, get re-energized, and write music for the next album. So 2019 was down. We maybe had 5 or 6 shows. And then 2020, like I said, we wrapped up the album right at the beginning and then we're ready to hit it. And then everything changed. And now we've been off, obviously, no live performances at all this year. So 2020 has been down. So it's been interesting. The good thing is I'm a family man and I've got to spend some time with my family and be home because I was gone pretty much nonstop for the last 16 plus years. So it has
Wow.
some good things about it, but I definitely, yeah, because Seether is just it's album
Sure.
tour cycle,
Sure.
rinse and repeat. We put out an album and we'll tour for 18 months or 2 years. It's just what it takes to get around the world, which Seether does, and so always a lot of touring. Which I'm a musician, I play live, I'm a live musician. I love doing that, so I'll never take it for granted again. That's for sure. I miss it so much now.
Yeah. How do you, okay, I'm going to try to pronounce the Seether album. Let's see if I get it right. Actually, I'm not going to try to pronounce it.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Tell me what it is.
Si we pacem parabellum.
What's the meaning
So,
behind that?
if you want peace, prepare for war.
That's good.
And yeah, I mean, it's the idea that I guess the best offense is a good defense in some ways. And if you think it's always always prepare. I don't know, just be on your defensive, which you can be and usually are, and especially I don't know, it can be applied to your personal life, I suppose, or I guess with Latin, it referred to actual military combat, which means we're armed and ready. And if we look like we come from a strong position, there'll be peace. They won't attack because we look like we're on the offense. We're ready to go.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Tell me something, man. How do you juggle both bands? Again, like you said, you're a live, musician, that's your passion. It's like, dude, and it's not like one band is like way up here and the other band's way down here. I mean, both bands, Nixons, the Nixons and Seether are both iconic bands. Like, how in the
Oh,
world
thank you.
can you, like, to be honest, I can't even imagine. Like, again, both bands are so big. Like, how do you juggle being a drummer for both bands?
Oh, thank you. I'm beyond blessed. I'm very fortunate. And Seether is sort of, is priority, just in that it's my band, it's my home, and Nixons are too. But the Seether is where that's my commitment. That's my major commitment. The guys with the Nixons, for the longest time, we didn't know we were going to reunite. We
Okay.
just we kind of, the band went on hiatus around 2000, and we all kind of went our separate ways. And the singer Zach Malloy's a songwriter in Nashville now and has been for many years. And Ricky and Jesse kind of went their own way. And so really, I mean, 15 years went by. I just felt like, well, maybe a reunion won't ever happen. And I got with Seether in 2003, and it's been great. It's been nonstop. Like I said, it's been album tour. The reunion with the Nixons happened then in 2017. And we had a couple of great shows. One in Oklahoma City was sold out, and we went to Dallas and played Edge Fest, a huge festival we used to play back in the day. And the show was great, and it sort of snowballed from there. Zach, when he literally got off the plane in Nashville after the reunion shows, recorded a demo of a song that he had gotten an idea for and sent it back to all of us to check out and see if we'd like to record. It was
Nice.
Song of the Year. So now there's new music. We start recording new music, which didn't plan on doing at all. It was just going to be like those couple of shows. And then some more shows started happening. And at the time when this reunion happened, it was perfect because Seether would be coming on to a break, or about to record an album. And then I'd go do some shows with the Nixons, or we'd work on some stuff. Now both bands have been down. When everything finally opens up again, it should be interesting. I do have a secret weapon, though, I will say. My oldest son is a phenomenal drummer, and anytime there's a scheduling conflict with the Nixons and Seether, he'll fill in for me for the Nixons.
Dude, that's got to be crazy.
It's amazing. I mean, he's a great drummer.
Wow.
Drummer. He's 21 now. I mean, when he was 15 years old, he got up on stage with me with Seether and did Remedy. We did a switch out. It was always like the last song of our set. He was 15 years old, in front of 10,000 people. He got up there and played it, killed it like he'd been doing it his whole life. And he's only gotten better. And so a couple of years ago, there was a conflict in the schedule, and I'm just like, I don't want to have the Nixons cancel. I pitched it to the guys. What do you think about Jackson? His name's Jackson, filling in for me. And at first they were like, oh, I don't know. I mean, he's great, but won't that be weird? And then they thought about it and went, no, that's cool. I mean, he's your son. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. That'd be great. And he did a few shows. In fact, he did an East Coast tour with the guys at the end of 2019, 2020, when I was with Seether doing the new album.
Right.
So he filled in for a whole tour, and it killed. And I had friends texting me going, man, your son's killing it out here. He's doing great. He's so awesome. And they tell him stories. Oh, we used to hang with your dad back in the day, and all these. And Jackson's just like, oh, I've never met you, but that's awesome.
That's
whatever.
Cool.
But so I kind of have a secret weapon with him. So he allows that really to possible. So, because with technology, I mean, I don't have to travel really to record. I can record from home and send
Hmm.
tracks, and so each band that way, you can still record, but Seether is sort of my main thing. And if there's ever a conflict, then Jackson will fill in for the
That's
Nixon.
got to be cool to be a dad, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
from when you first started and, to really start from the ground level up and then have a child, just kind of be, born, of course. I don't know if I should say into it or just around it. And then all of a sudden he's old enough to fill in for you. And
right,
what would make it cool is if, the fans that know you guys, then knows you, and then it's like, hey, this is his son. You know what I mean? Like
right,
there's some
right.
there's some really cool stuff going on there. It's like, hey, I'm not here, but guess what? My son is there.
That's right.
And I'm
That's
sure
right.
all eyes would be on him, like, man, that's crazy. His son is up there playing.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really cool, and he is part of the family, literally. So I think it makes perfect sense, and he does such a great job. And the guys love him when that happens. And I even joke, I was in the studio with Seether working on the album. My friends are texting me, going, "Man, these shows are awesome. Miss you, bro, but man, your son's killing it." And I was like, "God, I wish I was there, man, just to see it too."
Dang, man, that's got to be crazy.
Yeah.
See their fan video,
Okay.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Really cool concept there. How did that all come together for that video?
Yeah. The idea was just to have everybody who plays guitar, bass, to contribute and record a clip of them playing along to the song. And I don't know if it was ever initially going to be just a few. I think our folks that took on the editing of that video, the final results involved quite a bit of work because
Oh,
there were
sure.
a ton of entries, and it's great. They got them all in there, and it's amazing. And we had a blast watching that video. Just it's really cool. I mean, the greatest form of flattery, right, is impersonation in some
Right.
ways. And these kids are playing the music. They've learned the song. They love the music, and they took the time to record themselves playing along with the song. So I figured the least we could do is put it all together and make a great video. And it turned out, I think, really cool.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
we sent everybody who participated a thank you video. Thank you for participating. You'll find yourself in the video. Be sure and check it out, which, and we all did a thank you for everyone that contributed and participated
That's
in
really
that.
cool.
So, yeah, I thought it was a really special thing. And I think it turned out really cool.
To me, it would make it more personal,
Yeah.
because what got me into this, as probably any artist or anyone doing a podcast or interviews, is being a fan first. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
being a fan of music. And when you get something like that, or I guess speaking for myself, my number one guy would be Tommy Lee. I'm just from that era,
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
me too.
you know what I'm saying? And to get something personal, it's like, man, that would really, make you feel part of it. And it's like, man, that's cool.
Yeah, I think
That
I think it was a good thing for us to do. I mean, if the fan took the time, someone who took the time to do that, it's the least we owed them. And I thought it was a really classy touch, and I was glad to do it because I thought it was pretty impressive. All the people that participated, it was really cool. And like you said, man, first and foremost, I'm a music fan. That's how I got into this. This is why I play music. This is why I do this because I'm forever a music fan. Look at all these records behind me. I listen to music. I mean, I'm a dork when I'm not playing it. I'm listening to it. I love music. It's a big part of my life. It's a big part of me, and I understand forever what it means when you connect with a piece of music. You connect with the band.
right.
In my case, you connect with a drummer as a favorite drummer. I love Tommy Lee too. There's a lot of guys that I emulated myself growing up and wanted to be like and love their playing. And I'm forever a fan. And that's how it started for me, for sure.
Who would you say would be your influence? Like, what made John want to play drums or be a musician? Like, what was that spark, either when you was a kid or a young adult? Like, what made you like, oh, I want to do that?
Well, there was one band for sure, and I have to blame, and it's Kiss. I was a Kiss
Oh,
fan,
Kiss,
okay?
everybody's
And I
Kiss.
was right, and I was right at the right age. I was about, it was the late 70s. I'm giving my age away now. And I was like, 9 or 10, the movies on TV. there's this superhero kind of thing, right? You're a little kid. Well, this is cool. Superheroes with guitars, and I remember my grandma worked part-time at a convenience store, and she would bring home the bubblegum cards, and
Wow.
she'd have different ones. She'd bring me home Star Wars, and there was Kiss. So the very first thing, even before I heard their music, really, I had those cards, those Donruss cards, those early
Wow.
baseball cards, and I love those. And I still to this day, I remember those images. I just looked at those, stared at those for hours in my bedroom when I was a kid. But Kiss was my first concert. I mean, it was the last year they wore the makeup. I didn't get to see the original band in makeup. I was a little too young. I saw a tour. It was Creatures of the Night for anyone who's a Kiss fan, and it was sort of their last makeup tour.
Right.
And Ace and Peter was no longer in the band, but it was still so cool to me to see Kiss in living form in front of me.
Oh, sure.
But that band from the time I was a kid, and then I grew up with them. The Nixons were having a lot of success right at the time they had the reunion tour in '96. That's when Sister was a big hit.
You're right.
So they took us out on that tour. We opened for them.
Wow.
And we did 6 shows over 2 weeks, one of them being Madison Square Garden, New York City, which was totally surreal. So I've grown with the band too. So as an adult, I've come to appreciate their story, where they've come from, their humble beginnings, and how they, sort of mastered the industry. I mean, they are the king of brands.
Are they?
Their name and that logo is forever imprinted into your brain. But I've just kind of grown up with them, and I still love the music. I put it on to get inspired and to feel those same feelings I had when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the reason I do this. So if I'm going to blame anything or pinpoint it to one thing that maybe I went, I'd like to do that, not necessarily wear makeup and do all that, but, play music, be in a rock and roll band. It was them for sure.
I would say Kiss would be mine as well, man. Like my mom was just a rocker, and I remember the very first record I ever seen was the Destroyer album.
Oh yeah,
and, dude, I remember walking to wherever this record store was, but I remember distinctly we were walking to the store, and she used to always buy records, and she bought this record, which I had no clue who this Kiss was. But I remember asking her, it's like, what are you buying? And she said Kiss. Well, I had no clue what Kiss was, but I remember, man, she handed it to me, and I opened the record. It was it was like a fold out, album.
Yeah.
And dude, it just blew my mind, and I just think from that point on, I think that's where everything started, was from that record when I was just a little bitty kid opening that record. And it's like, whoa, like these monster figures on top of the mountain where the city below was on fire. And it was just wild, but yeah, I would say Kiss would be mine as well, though.
It's funny. I've been watching a series on YouTube. You can find everything on YouTube. And there was a series by the guy who designed all their album covers and all their art for the '70s. So sort of iconic albums, Destroyer, you mentioned, Love Gun, Alive 2. And some of those are like those Donruss cards. They just stuck with me forever. The gatefold in Alive 2, where the flames are just as tall as the gatefold, and the fire, and they're right there. That photo is just, for a 9 or 10 or 11-year-old, you're just going, wow, what is this?
Exactly.
Holy crap. You put the record on, and there's this heavy music, this cool music. And my room was an air guitar, air drum,
I think everybody
when I was a kid. Oh man, tennis rackets and anything you could turn into a guitar, and my mom, and put makeup on me. I wanted, no, you jumped around as a kid, but definitely Halloween, for sure.
Man, yeah, it was crazy. I think I tried being Peter Criss for one Halloween. So
yeah,
I think I did it was probably a horrible job, but I tell you what, for that hour to 2 hours I was out, I'm like, right, I'm the drummer for Kiss. But let's how much time do you have? How much
I'm good. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. You play drums. Are there any other instruments that you play?
Not as not as well as the drums. My mom when I was a little kid, 3 or 4, I had a portable record player and I loved music. And my parents realized this and they weren't too sure, what should we do? And my mom had me take piano lessons when I was a kid. And so I got a lot of my foundation and music theory from that. I'm not a great piano player by any means, but that was my initial instrument. And then I had an acoustic guitar when I was about 10 or 11. But it was middle school, and two things sort of happened. I was already into Kiss, but then along came the AC/DCs and Van Halen, and sort of that next level of rock. And then middle school was like drum corps, and I love drum corps at the football games, the drum cadences and everything to get the crowd going. And a friend of mine was in that, and I'm like, "How do you join drum corps?" And he goes, "Well, you audition, and you'll have to learn how to read music. It's real easy though." And the teacher taught me, and I auditioned. I got into drum corps, and then eventually got into band, and did marching band and jazz band and all that through school. But combination of those two things, right at the perfect time when I was 12 or 13, I got my first kit. I had my first rock band. And there was just no looking back, man. That was right when everything changed for me. And so no more guitar, no more piano. It was all about playing the drums, and drums just became number one for me.
Cool. Out of all of the records, let's do both bands. For Seether, what would you say, and this is probably going to be a hard one for you, would be your favorite song to play live? Like, what really gets you moving, live for Seether?
That's a good question. So I'm on everything of Seether's recording, all the recorded material except for the first album.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on Disclaimer. That's a session drummer played on that. So I have these great memories of. I was supposed to learn 4 songs for my audition, but I went out and bought that album. I learned the entire album.
That's good.
And one of the first songs I ever played for the band, and it was the first song of our set for many years. And it's the first song on the CD. It's called Gasoline.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's a great show starter. It always set the tone for the night. It lets you know how the show was going to be. If it was going to be an off night or a rockin' night, or how the crowd would be. That was set the tone. And it's that song. I have an interesting perspective since I didn't record it. I didn't write it, or wasn't part of the writing process. It's sort of like on that, I'm on the outside looking in. So I'm a fan of that album. I love those songs. And I'm a fan of that song. So for all those reasons, I think Gasoline live is my favorite song to play with Seether.
Nice. All right. Let's say the Nixons. What would be your favorite song with them to play live?
Oh, gosh. We end with a cool song. And it was actually the song, funny enough, I auditioned with the Nixons when I joined them. It has a kind of a punk vibe to it. It's a song called One by One, and we always end our live set with it. It was on their first EP called 6, and it was the song that Ricky, the bass player, it's a bass line that starts it, and it's a tricky song, and it's like almost a punk song. It's got a pretty fast tempo, and it's the last song of the night, and it's pretty rocking. Nixon's it's so hard, man. But One by One kind of stands out as a great sort of energetic song. But a special song to play, obviously, with the Nixons is Sister. Just because of the song and what it meant and what it did for the band. And I have great memories of writing that song.
That's a great song, man.
Thank you. It was a little rent house that our bass player's roommate was living in, and the garage was converted into an extra room, like a game room or a family room. And we were in there for the afternoon. And I remember this was in Norman, Oklahoma, and we set up and rehearsed and arranged and put together, because Zach had the music and the idea, but we, the band, arranged and put together the song and did the bridge and the build up and everything. We worked all of that out in a little garage, or converted garage, in Norman, Oklahoma. So it's weird what memories you have sort of attached to songs, I mean, that make them special,
That's really cool. let's rewind, when your son would come back home and or call you or whatever and have all these stories, were you ever thinking, hopefully there wasn't some story out there that maybe some guy was reminiscing and like, man, me and your dad this one time, and you're like, hey, dude, hey, you know what, zip it,
Sure.
were you ever nervous about that part of it?
Well, a little bit, but Jackson, he was so diplomatic. He was like, "Yeah, Dad, they were missing you so much, and they said to say hey." And they said, "Man, they used to party with your dad back in the day, and woo, had some crazy times." They didn't elaborate, which was probably a good thing. But Jackson was kind of like, "I don't know what guy you're talking about. I don't know that guy."
Yeah. Hey, that's what my kids would be like, because I have old friends and family members, like some family, we might go to a cookout, meet up with them like maybe once a year. And there's
Yeah,
always these distant family members that we would just used to get wild. And it's
right.
like, they always start reminiscing, they'll get a couple of drinks
Yes,
and it's like, hey,
yes,
slow it down. And then, my daughters, they'll look at me like, really, Dad? And it's like,
right,
no, he's
right.
lying to you.
Yeah. No, no, no. It's another lifetime.
Yeah. Uh,
Another lifetime. I plead the fifth. I
right.
don't know anything
Hey,
about it.
there
I
you
don't know
go.
anything about it.
There you go. There you go. You guys did a stream.
Right.
How did that all get put together? Like, where did you guys do this at?
So we did it in Oklahoma City. There's a great production company here called Toucan, and he does lighting for touring artists, touring bands, and he has rigs in Las Vegas and
Oh,
all over the
wow.
world. Great production, but just like everybody in this industry, he's down right now. He's not
Right.
touring. He doesn't have any rigs out. So he set up this great, like, sort of temporary stage, amazing production, and he's had DJs and different bands doing live streams and stuff there. And he quite honestly just came to us and goes, "Look, man, I've got all these killer toys, LED walls and lights and everything. You're welcome to it." He goes,
Wow.
"Maybe you guys would like to do something with it. I don't know, but it's there for you to use," which was amazing. So we got together then with Veeps and decided to put together this live stream. And we shot it in Oklahoma City. We discussed the set list. We added two really deep cut kind of surprise songs for fans, kind of to do something different. We just didn't want it to be your typical show. We wanted it to be special.
Mm-hmm.
And we went in and played a show basically over the course of an afternoon. And they programmed all the lights, and the production was amazing. Sonically, it's amazing. If you were to see it, I would say visually, it's one of the best documents of the band there is.
That's
Pro
cool.
shot, different camera angles, lighting, production. It's awesome. It looks great. I'm really proud of it. And the bass player's brother, Andy Brooks, did all the editing on it. He's a big fan of the band, so he knows our music inside and out. So he did all the shots. He did the editing. It looks amazing. He synced the audio to the video. It looked incredible. And he had this idea for us to maybe add some dialogue, interview stuff with each of us in between songs.
That's cool.
And we're either maybe telling a story about what a song might mean to us, or thematically, what the song is about. Or maybe I would talk about, in my case, I was talking about one of the songs we played being a deep cut that we haven't played in years, and kind of explaining it's, why we hadn't played it, and it's so cool to bring it back, and, what have you. But, different sort of, so it's almost like a documentary borderline, I guess.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, documentary and live performance. It's really special. And we're talking about, everybody was so blown away with how it turned out and how it looks, that we may consider doing a DVD or Blu-ray. I'm not too sure, but we're going to do something with it, because it's too beautiful. It looks great. It sounds great. And for it to, just be this one-time thing, it needs to be preserved somewhat, some way. So
Sure.
we need to figure that out.
Yeah, I think it would be a great marketing, tool, and just as for your fans to have,
Absolutely.
Because, like you said, everyone knows, like, everything is shut down. And to have a gym like that, man, to where you guys are talking about the songs, again, fans, wanting to know about songs, and, hey, what is that song about? And maybe they might have their own idea, when they're listening to it, but really to see the band sit and be able to explain what that song is about, man, it's just top of the line.
Yeah, kind of interesting perspective, and I think
Sure.
it makes it just special. I mean, bands I've watched other live streams, they just perform. That's fine too. I mean, Seether's talking about doing one where maybe we're just in a rehearsal room, maybe we're just running through stuff, and it's not going to have all the production, but we're just there, and that's fine. You know, you can do some fun stuff. I think if it's a little unique and special, especially if someone's paying to watch it, I think it should be of some production value. I mean, I think it's got to be worth, you know, the hard-earned money that somebody's spending, you
Right.
know, and
Right.
I really feel the Nixons, we worked hard. We put a lot of work into it. And then, like I said, Ricky's brother did an amazing job, and I think it turned out really, really well.
All right, man. Is there anything that you want to touch base on? Anything you want to put out there? Anything we didn't talk about, you know, that you want to push right now?
You can go to the nixonsofficial.com. That's our website. And we'll have dates. We're finally, you know, both Seether and the Nixons are talking about dates in fall-ish, you know. So hopefully, man, by the end of this year, we're playing again and shows are going on. And if the calendars conflict, you know, Jackson will be there for the Nixons, but that's okay. He's awesome. It'll be great. And I just look forward to us playing, man, and doing some shows. And thanks to everyone who supports both those bands. Again, I feel, you know, truly blessed to be involved with both of them, and they're awesome bands, and you know, everything's good. We just got to get through this time, and I don't know, get everyone vaccinated, and we can get back to some shows, man.
Right. All right, man. That's it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.